And again, this is News Today, and you're welcome. Now, relatives of the woman whose baby went missing at the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital last year threatening to go to court over the matter. They are grieved the Ministries of Health as well as Gender, Children and Social Protection have failed to secure justice for Suwaiba Abdul Mumin. Family members also accuse the two ministries of failing to fulfill the promise to provide psychological support. Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin reports.
Me kai kura na mi hu de me hu na me ka
It's been 1 year since 36-year-old Madam Suwaiba gave birth at the Konfanochi Hospital, but she is yet to know the whereabouts of the body of the baby officials say was stillborn. She has neither received formal communication from the Ministry of Health on the outcome of investigations. Suwaiba and her family are unhappy they have been ignored. Mohammed Abdul Rahman is spokesperson.
To the family, or one called the family and Suwaiba, thinking of how to move on, but we never heard anything since then, and we've been waiting to hear from the ministries. Nothing have come out from them, and the police too. We have heard nothing from their investigations. It's been that the state institutions had a plan that they wanted to scratch each other's back so that then they would tone down the issue, and it's like they are realizing what they wanted to do is coming to pass, and the family too is anxiously waiting for Parliament to come out with a report. Parliament came in along the line that they were going to conduct some investigation with the Parliamentary Select Committee on Health. Fortunately for us, the chairman of the Health Committee in Parliament is our member of Parliament. We have contacted him and told us that Parliament is working on it. We've not heard anything from their side. We have approached the municipal, the chief executive to the same old story that they are working on it.
This are some no one had to say or more Becaso or man can pray. When Timenia Brepa and make us say, and Mania Brepa, Ghana for 1 year dear cry, and pay you for more Ghana, or 1 year dear cry, 1 year dear Baco cry. I said, Mrs. Mimi, whom a person whom be a Mimi Banu or enemy pay. Or more eso as some said, or more some abuami, but or more do him the one cry. Moving out, pa, my do a movie out, and paying you for no pa. I wrote some more could some said your more cast some yam. I could drain you what just some mammy a day.
Suwaiba's case caused a national stir when doctors claimed her baby had died but failed to produce the body. The Health Ministry investigations indicted some hospital staff who were subsequently suspended. At the time, the family insisted the body of the baby must be produced dead or alive. Parliament came in to find answers to the mystery, but that never materialized. Suwaiba is disappointed in the leadership of the country.
Wow, Morgan and Yamida, Moise, and you be a master may buy a sorry, now so I can't be my middle, would be a rassy. But in paying for Morgan, the Omanka and Munu cranch, and one Wami cry, or more so as someone said you move one Kusumo drain him, or more just some naman. Almost made me see me bear who I'm Nami Banifun. I walk round at China, we uncle Robert Tony Cassay. Akolani kase niwo nipa mo niwo efunu niwo enti se mani abrepa minim se asam no anka o mo nka no kra o mo anka o mo frɛ me kra se me mra nkran anka me nko.
Big time disappointed, not the family alone. People call us not to listen to whoever comes on board again. If we have to fight, we should fight on. They will support us in every way, financially, spiritually, morally. They will support us. So this time when anybody comes on board, we should just forget them and fight on.
She insists the family will pursue the matter to its utmost end.
The Ghana mind, the Nukrasa cry, Nukreba cry, Nigana mind. I say the now so say me person me hu baby me ba no me still me nya you me person me hu baby me ba no still me njai so mo na jai me de.
She is particularly concerned about promises made to her that never materialized.
So mbebua me omo kakaka enkosi ga omo kakaka omo se ene echina ibusa omo kra omo se asam no parliament say ni se so ye hu na obia e na omo ne nam krom say me ama misika ya ye de obi hia me a was sa ya ma usika na me se obi ama misika nyankopɔ na betua omo ni de omo ka ni na e betua omo ka sa me ya ama misika bia.
Well, Public Relations Officer for the Ministry of Health, Tony Goodman, insists the ministry has done all it could after it instituted a committee to look into the matter last year.
That is for you and I to discuss and inform her about the decision that came out of that investigation. You see, it is if you are interviewing somebody and the person is raising questions, what is more important is you have to also refer to some work that was done. But if you allow the person to talk without informing the person about what really happened, it is not everybody that goes to court or goes to an institution where you are supposed to seek justice that is happy. It's not all of us that at times are okay with some decisions that can, but that is the law. That is what happens there. If you think you are not happy, then go a step further to seek other review or clarification. So we cannot just say because they're not happy, we'll just go and do things on our institutions were set up by law, and when it comes to dealing with some of those cases, you go through an appropriate institution to do it. I'm saying that if he feels that what was done is not the best, he can go to an appropriate institution to seek justice.
Which institution will be appropriate in this case?
That I cannot say. Those who are
Isn't the Ministry of Health one of those appropriate institutions for her to bring her case to?
We have done ours, and according to you, she's not happy with.
Our Ashanti regional correspondent Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin visited the Konfanoche teaching hospital where the incident took place last year, and reports mechanisms have been put in place to make sure it does not repeat itself.
Visiting the Konfanoche teaching hospital for a while now, and what I'm seeing here is that there's some kind of changes here. I'm told there's some kind of changes as with regards to the work of some nurses and health officials here because of what happened last year. And so they are very, very careful with what they are doing. They are vigilant, and they make sure they take good care of their patients and to avoid any incident like what happened last year, February. And when I came, there were some women who came to seek for medical attention, especially the pregnant women and the nursing women. And in speaking to some of them, what they are telling me is that they're seeing some changes, and they are happy about it. Have been trying very, very hard to get this information as to what has been changed, but authorities here wouldn't speak to me. What they only say is they have made some changes, and those changes will surely bring, positive image to the hospital. So they wouldn't mention any of the changes because they are very, very careful with the issue now, and so they have declined to speak on the changes for now.
Let's go to the courts now, where dismissed former National Service boss Al-Hassan Imoro's case was adjourned to March 12, 2015. Our reporter Kwabena Chenchehene Boateng was there and joined us with a report earlier on Joy News Desk.
Today, there was the case of the National Service Secretariat former boss Alhaji Al-Hassan Imoro, who is actually being accused of allegedly stealing some 86.9 million Ghana cedis. So the trial has been on for some time now. Apparently, there's been quite a number of adjournments because the state is actually saying that they are still in investigations. They do not have enough evidence. Today in court, the same scenario played out. The police actually, I must say that the state prosecutors actually said they needed a little bit more time since they were almost done with their investigations. So they needed a bit more time for them to actually conclude their investigation so that they will be in a position to make a solid case. Now, in court today was obviously Alhaji Alassane Moro, who came in with a very normal demeanor. He didn't look tense. He just looked very relaxed. Just came in smiling and came ready for questions. But apparently, no such thing happened. We're there, and when the state prosecutors came, they actually mentioned that they had to call for an adjournment, which, again, I must say, counsel for the accused, Alhaji Alassane Moro, actually agreed to. The lead counsel for the accused actually is one Dennis J. Jumo. He's actually the lead counsel for them. But one point that was raised today was the fact that there's been too many adjournments. So they were hoping that after today, the next adjournment will see the case begin proper. So that's basically what happened. But the substantive issue has been adjourned to March 12 for the case to actually begin properly. Now, another thing that also came up, I think is worth mentioning, is the fact that as part of his bail conditions that was set early on, his bail conditions were a 90 million Ghana cedi bail plus some other conditions. In fact, in those conditions was the fact that he couldn't travel, he had to report to the CID once a week and all. There were quite a number of them. Apparently, some of the conditions have been revised, but he's still being made to report to the CID once a week. Now, a case that came up today, a point that was raised by his legal team, was the fact that it has become a norm that you just go to the CID headquarters on a Wednesday morning and you just go and write your name that you are there and you leave. So they see it as no point and actually an infringement on his right. Because most of the time when they do go to the criminal investigation department headquarters, there's virtually nothing to be done there. So they were actually praying the court to actually get that clause out of the way so that if a client is needed, the CID can go ahead and call him and prompt him that, you know what, we will need you tomorrow so he can come over. The court opened the floor for the accused to actually substantiate why they still wanted to have him appear every Wednesday. And, well, what the state prosecutors are saying is that with the nature of the issue at hand, it would be impossible, virtually impossible, to actually grant such a thing. And indeed, the court agreed with them. And so he will still have to be reporting to the Criminal Investigations Department every Wednesday.
Well, now we can look at other issue. Now, following the massive public outcry over the erratic power supply in the country, the New Patriotic Party has set February 18, 2015 to stage a demonstration over the issue. Related stories groups. Latif Idris was there earlier, and he should join me a bit here in the studio, but we could not listen to General Secretary for the party, Kwabena Japan.
The government continues to show their inability to deal with the energy crisis. It's important to recognize that when the MPP was leaving office in 2009, we bequeathed to this government enough generating capacity. So the question cannot be that of generating capacity. It's more of poor management of the economy, and with it, an inability to import the necessary crude that is required to power our generation plants. This situation becomes all the more mind-boggling when we consider the massive amounts of resources that has been available to this administration over the last 6 years. We want to re-echo some of the data our party's running mate, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, put out in Tamale recently. Between 2009 and 2014, the Mahama-led administration borrowed the equivalent of $27 billion, which is more than 4 times the amount of money the MPP borrowed during our 8 years in power. In addition, the NDC government collected tax revenue exceeding 62 billion Ghana cedis in the last 6 years, which is in stark contrast to the NPP's 15.2 billion between 2001 and 2008. A similar comparison can be made with regards to gold and cocoa export. In the same period, the NDC exported 14.5 billion worth of cocoa, as against the 8.7 billion in the 8 years of the NPP.
Latif Idrisu, who was there for us, has joined me in the studio now. We can have an insight of exactly what the General Secretary for the NPP was talking about. Thank you very much for your time here, Latif.
You're welcome, Karen.
Exactly what's he going on about?
Yeah, I would like to say that this is the same old story, because somewhere last week, I believe, the NPP organized a press conference on this same subject of the mismanagement of the economy and also about this same erratic power supply. So coming up with this one, it seemed to me that they find it difficult to understand why the government has been unable to, fix the power situation that faces the country currently.
What exactly are we expecting them to do after this press conference?
Like you said in the intro, they are organizing a nationwide demonstration, if you like, but they want to focus here in Accra on the 18th of February. Next week. So, and they expect massive following, because they say the NPP has been very charitable to this government since the Mahama-led administration took office. They've never organized any demonstration. This, they say, is their first time, and they believe they're going to send some shiver down the spine of the...
Did they explain what they meant by charitable? Or perhaps we should take a listen to the communications director for the party, that we can have a sense of what they mean by charitable to the ruling government. Right. Let's take a listen to that briefly.
My brother, you just have to put in the energy plants. That's what you should do. In the meantime that the problem has come, you must put in emergency generation. You must bring in barges that have electricity available. When you are building a plant, it will take about 18 months. So you build the plants for the next 2 years, 3 years. But immediately, you have to bring in generators, barges. Now, it's not that the government says it's going, yes, but 3 years down the line. 3 years, people are dying on a regular basis. As of businesses that have collapsed, jobs that have been lost, now people are dying because of this doom. So 3 years, and it's not that you're going to bring in the generators.
We've had series of demonstrations in this country. Last one was the AFAC demonstration.
The NPP hasn't had any demonstration in the last 6 years.
But you solidarized with AFAC when they had their demonstration.
Well, this is the NPP. Wait until we move, and you'll see. You know the elephant?
And
you know the elephant? You know when the elephant moves, the F shakes?
So you believe you have results with...
a government that is failing, and this government is clearly failing. A government that is failing fears two things: elections and demonstrations.
The energy issue is the biggest for the NPP, but at this press conference, did they identify any solutions the government perhaps hasn't tried already?
Yeah, that's the question I put to the Director of Communications, and what he told me was that the sense of urgency Ghanaians expect the government to demonstrate in this critical moment is what they failed to demonstrate that. And the lukewarm attitude, that is how they want to call it. But I believe the government is also taking up some initiative by bringing in the barges from Turkey. And
let's see how that pans out.
Yeah,
thank you very much, Latif. Latif Idrisu was at the press conference organized by the New Patriotic Party ahead of the demonstration sometime next week. Now, former boss of the Ghana Real Estate Developers Association, Dr. Alexander Cheneboa, accused of his involvement in Simbox fraud, has been granted bail. An Accra Central Magistrate Court on Tuesday pegged the bail at 50,000 Ghana cedis with 2 sureties, one to be justified. Dr. Cheneboa, who has pleaded not guilty to 2 counts of providing electronic equipment without license and possessing illegal devices with intent to commit crime, was arrested a few weeks back by the police for engaging in Simbox fraud. He, together with 5 others, were arrested by a joint task force which included the National Communications Authority and the Criminal Investigations Department on January 15. The task force seized one SIM box with a 64-slot SIM server, 4G internet modem, one laptop and mini antennas from a residence at Bachuna Manet area. I've been joined by a reporter from the court, Kwache Afreniama, to bring us up to speed with happenings in the court, including that of the former Member of Parliament for Nkranza North, Eric Amwatin. Kwache, let's start off with Member of Parliament for Nkranza North. Exactly what went down in court with him?
Kamini, I hope you can hear me because I'm really having difficulty hearing it clearly. But the presiding judge, Walanyo.
We lost Kwache there. Would raise Kwache over the telephone again, but Kwache was going to give us an update on the court hearing for Member of Parliament for Nkranza North, Eric Amwatin, who is in court for allegedly possessing illegally a passport while in jail in the United States of America. He was also going to give us some detail of the hearing for Greta boss Alex Cheneboa. I understand Kwache Afreniama is back over the telephone. Hello, Kwache.
Yeah, Kamini.
So you were telling us about the hearing.
Well, the presiding judge, Walanyo Kotoku, said that after his checks and review of argument by lawyers for Dr. Cheneboa, he found no reason not to grant him bail. As you may recall, yesterday, legal counsel for the businessman and former Greater Boss argued, among other things, that per Section 96(7) of the Criminal Procedure, offenses that the court cannot grant bail does not include what his client is being charged for, that is providing electronic communication without license and possessing illegal devices. As a result, the Accra Central Magistrate Court granted him bail to the tune of 50,000 Ghana cedis with two sureties, one to be justified. He is also required to present himself to the police CID twice a week. That's Mondays and Fridays. The case resumes on March 3 for hearing into the hearing on the substantive matter to commence then.
I see. And when we come to the issue of the Member of Parliament for Nkranza North, Eric Amwatin, what can you report from the court?
That case has also been adjourned, but the state prosecutor and investigator all failed to appear in court today. They are reportedly ill. As you may well know, the investigator, ASP Kwekulodonu, was expected to be cross-examined by Mr. Amwatin's lawyers today. The judge, Helen Vivian Amwa, has, however, directed that before the next adjourned date of March 9, they both submit medical proof of their illness. But lawyers for Eric Amwatin, former Nkranza North MP, say that should this thrown out of the circuit court.
But this must be very frustrating for Eric Amwatin himself. Was he in court today? How did he react to it?
Certainly very frustrating. At the last sitting, I spoke to his lawyer, and he pointed out the fact that they have to come all the way to the court, the cost involved, the legal cost, and so on and so forth. Eric Amwatin obviously looked, understandably too, looked very distraught, and he had with him two family members, his younger brother and a cousin, I understand. And the look on their face was telling in that regard.
Well, Kwache, we'll leave it here. Thank you very much for those reports. Now, to come in sports with Benedict Owusu, President Mahama rewards the Ghana Black Stars with $25,000 package We'll be back with those details. Don't go away. Our top stories here on Joy News today. President Mahama announces $25,000 package for Black Stars showing at the Africa Cup of Nations. Family of missing baby at the Konfanoche Teaching Hospital accused Ministry of Health and others of neglect a year down the line, but the ministry insists all is done. Well, today in the courts, former Greater Boss granted bail while hearing on financial wrongdoing case against former National Service Boss adjourned to March 12, 2015. Thank you very much for your company. There's more news on myjoyonline.com. My name is Kamini Nyamani Amana. Have a good afternoon.